First, a bit of background on the Wicked spreadsheet. So the spreadsheet started as a quick check on the viability of a community purchasing high street property in Milton Keynes. The idea was to avoid producing detailed financial projections unnecessarily. The model was then used in London alongside Dave Boyle of Community Shares Company. Then Dave put Dina and Brian in contact regarding doing the same feasibility process using Cannes Wicked spreadsheet for Colville Cannes. At this point, Dina and Brian added in extra variables. So whilst keeping the original ethos of a simple one-sheet model that can actually be printed onto one A3 sheet, there is now much more functionality in the model. But it has to be remembered that this is a quick check and full financial projections are needed. VAT has been removed from the equation. It is assumed that where VAT can be reclaimed or has to be charged, you will put in the net amount. Where VAT cannot be reclaimed, you will put in the gross amount. VAT and grant-funded capital build is a complex area. It's hoped that some guidance about where VAT can be reclaimed and where it cannot, where it has to be charged and where it does not, will be available from Cannes soon. But it is important to get VAT advice from your own accountant regarding VAT to be charged or reclaimed, and indeed regarding whether to register for VAT or not. The effect of VAT on cash flow, therefore, is not included in the feasibility model. But note that if VAT registered, the VAT held or paid out can cause short-term swings in cash flow that may need to be financed. The Wicked spreadsheet can be used as a quick feasibility check. The area, the purchase price, the build type, and the usage type that are needed to do a quick initial check. The costs and income may in fact vary by geographical location, so you may start to adjust some of the numbers in the input these details first section. But by inputting these 4 bits of information and using the defaults that are already there, you'll be able to have a first quick stab at feasibility. As more information becomes available, the feasibility model for a site can be improved. Then you can start to play with the mix of loans, community shares, and grants to finance the project. Keep an eye on the cash. With this model, the primary monitor of feasibility is that the pink cash in bank row 56 is positive. As the financing arrives up front in the model, any issues regarding non-viability can first be identified through row 56. Interest rates. Interest rates are fixed over the 30 years of the Wicked spreadsheet, but it's unlikely that this will really be the case. But variation in interest rates is the sort of scenario testing and sensitivity analysis that needs to be carried out in more complex, full financial projections. Improvements and feedback. There are always going to be extra things that we could add to the Wicked spreadsheet. However, we are trying to limit the development of this tool to stay as a quick feasibility check. Saying that, there are always improvements that can be made, and it will be good to hear your thoughts after the workshop about potential improvements. Balanced financing. For large community assets, it may be difficult to use community shares to fund 100% of investment needed. As a starting point, try using 10% funded by community shares, which levers in 20% of total funding requirement from more expensive social finance. That 30% together then acts as a deposit to borrow at a lower interest rate the remaining 70% from a more mainstream lender, which takes first security charge on the property. That's a 10, 20, 70 rule of thumb. Version control. When starting on a new version, copy and rename the file. You may also wish to put some text after the version number in the file name to remind you of the main change made. If you're making many scenarios, you will quite likely forget what changes made which results. As this model is all contained in one spreadsheet, it is easy to make a copy of the sheet within the workbook and rename the sheet and/or annotate the file at the top of the sheet so that all scenarios are stored for either keeping or deleting later. Full projections. The projections from the Wicked spreadsheet may be enough to start talking to the vendor, though they will not be enough to have a meaningful conversation with banks and other lenders. So if the project looks like it could be feasible, then the data in the Wicked spreadsheet can be used as the basis for producing full month-by-month financial projections containing detailed assumptions, calculations, balance sheets, profit and loss, cash flows, and report pages to export into share offer documents, etc. Enjoy using the Wicked spreadsheet.